stuudiot vahetanud ja tere
We're in a
Kerli, tere
different
Jan.
studio now. Hello,
Väga tore,
Jan and Kerli.
Võõrustate meid siin
It's very nice of you to host us here in your office,
kodukontor.
in your home office.
Ettevõtetel on, et kõik tegevus toimub ju samal
So,
kodus ja samal kontoris.
like in small companies,
Mis tegevusi teie
you have two in one. So this is your living room. What work does your company do in this living room?
Mõnikord vaatame mõne filmi ära.
Well, we watch a movie for inspiration from time to time. Give interviews, like now. First time in my life. Do you have a separate office, like a separate room? Kerli does. I go on site mostly. So how does your tandem function? How have you divided up the roles? Who does what? Well, it's Jan who has the roles. That's the division. She thinks them up. I'm in the background. And that's how it works. He shines and I shine by myself behind the stage. But is there a clear division that Jan does the art and you do the accounting? Is there a clear division? We don't have that division. Well, I sometimes create art as well, but he doesn't do the accounting. I keep away. So there is some kind of a division. Kerli writes sketches and jokes. So she has this wonderful positive humor to counterbalance my rough humor. And that means a good program. It's interesting that you allow your accountant to write sketches for yourself. Well, yes. Kerli, what else do you do? I consider myself the entrepreneur. I think of everything in business terms, and in the creative sector you have to have a creative approach as well. But what fits in the plan, what we have time for, where, what? Generally, these things are up to me, and Jan then fulfills the roles that need to be fulfilled on stage. Do you also make sure that Jan gets enough rest so that he can be good at his work? Well, it's not so easy in Estonia, but when we go away, then it's easier to not confirm all the jobs. Well, yes, when there is an event, a family event, then we don't take bookings. Well, generally, it's very difficult to say when is it time for business and when is it our private time, because all entrepreneurs know that they are so intertwined, and free time as such doesn't even exist like parliament members. Well, we have the advantage that when there's the concert tour, then we tour as well, so we can combine family and work and bring some fun. So not all professions have this advantage. So you are leaving the impression that being an actor is so easy. Well, it's all about jokes. It is about jokes and fun. But are you able to switch off when you're on holiday, that you don't think about anything new, you don't deal with the projects, or you use this time for fresh ideas? When it's never holiday time, the company exists 24/7. I always think about what needs to be done for it. It's a part of your life. You're married to the company as much as to your spouse. So, especially when it comes to creative work, you always get input from somewhere and you need to write it down right away. And if something has been formalized already, you have the text written down, then
just mulle meeldib siis õppida seda pähe.
I need to learn it by heart. It's 30 to 40 pages, so a holiday or rest time is very good time to learn it. So it's sort of this dry work that you need to do to learn it by heart. So maybe you are doing some kite surfing or going up the mountain on a gondola. It's a good time to learn the text. And then also you connect the text to the place where you learned it. But when do you have time to pay attention to each other? When you are learning text during holiday time, or Kelly, what do you do? Or do you take the time to just speak to each other and not work? But we all fall in love with each other again and again when we're working as well, several times a day, I would say. Love at work, I'd say. You have a quite clear division of roles that Gerli is the head of the company and you are the one who goes on site. So do you sometimes get angry with the boss or dispute? Feel a frown coming on? Well, no, not for them. They're falling in love all the time. Well, maybe sometimes internally you get a little bit upset, but usually at work people get upset with their boss and they dare not say anything to the boss and then go home and tell off the wife. In my case, I might get upset with the boss. And then I go on site and I tell somebody else off. A taxi driver, for example. I guess I have to say that you tend to joke. Well, it is a joke, but there is some truth to it. Yes, it has happened. There are disputes with stage partners, for example. Yes, sometimes things boil over. But up until now, we have been able to overcome crises constructively and discuss. Do you have a strict boss? Strict enough. I'm lazy enough that strictness can be executed on me. There are quite many artists in the world who come to mind are female artists who have been married to their managers. Mariah Carey, Celine Dion, but your relationship superficially reminds me of Sharon and Ozzy Osbourne, because Sharon is Ozzy's manager as well. I would take it as a compliment. Martin Luther's wife was the one who actually managed the religious undertaking so that he has time to write the text. So women are good at multitasking. They have households to manage and when they also have a business. So it is like a household management. That's what you have. I trust that theory because women are created more pragmatic. Men can sort of be playful, and when they're not interested in something, then they just jump to on the next train. But women can never do that based on natural inclinations. So I do like having a female boss. How could you cope before Gerli? Well, that's a longer joke. Well, he is the reason I got into business because he was struggling so much with his company that he was trying to manage. For several years, nothing had been done, really. The money sort of rolled in somehow, and I was the one who had to build up the company and bring order. She managed. This was the best entry into business. 2 years working on a company that was really bad off. So, and yeah, it was like a wrecked car, a totaled car. You graduated Estonian language and literature at Tallinn University. You're both with a background in humanities, but Kerli, you became an entrepreneur. But I would say, well, Hans-Lars Luik has also graduated Estonian language and literature. Well, yes, it is humanities, but language is very mathematical. When you start analyzing it phonetically or based on syntax or morphology, it's pure mathematics. So it depends on your approach. It's worse than mathematics, maybe worse. And the numbers never add up. So you have been together as a well-functioning tandem for 12 years, even longer. Were you a fan of Jan and his creative work before you became his partner and manager? I would not say a fan. I knew who he is, but I knew nothing of his private life. I'd seen the movie. I really did not know much. I did not like his play Ürgmees. Now I like it. The caveman. So could we say that Jan as an artist and as a brand has evolved into something it didn't used to be? And you maybe know the answer to this as well, that together you have shaped a new Jan. Definitely, definitely. A brand had been created earlier, but for the first time I felt that my name is a brand. After the movie Jan Uuspõld Goes to Tartu. But how to sort of shape it or maintain it. Kerli has a huge role in this now. A very big role. And it has gone hand in hand with his own development. He has gained peace personally, and we started with an alcoholic and now he is a sober alcoholic, and that is the story, part of the story of the brand. And sometimes I felt that maybe this modest personal life is not good for the brand, that maybe I need to cause some commotion from time to time, but, well, who knows? I'm just saying stupid things. That maybe the brand doesn't work. No, that's what you were afraid of, that it wouldn't work. But now you can see that it works even better. Yes, actually, that you don't need to use swear words and show you as the worst version of yourself. That people also care about an actor who has a normal personal life. Did you need to sort of work on him, not to drink or no, whatever? Well, that he has to change, that the brand and everything. And the business in the background. His advantage was that he wanted to change. He wasn't able to. He wasn't at a place to be able to, but he had this great desire to change. And when there is the desire to change, then you can help someone. If the person doesn't want it, you can't do anything. And he was willing to take the help, so it was easy. Because he wasn't happy with the burden that he carried. So in that sense, everything went smoothly. Yes, and I really grabbed on to the help to create something good.
When it comes to entrepreneurship and when it comes to private life, the things which work better is if you have passion and you love what you do, because successful businesses, they are not thinking about the outcome, but there is something there which is forcing them to do this is the passion when it comes to what they work. So if you have passion and you have love between people and they joint activity, then I think it supports a great deal and it supports any change and development. So is this something for you which is part of continuous progress? Do you feel that you are developing all the time or you're in a good place and this is where you would like to stay? It's a very good question because this is exactly what it's about. When in love and business, you can't have status quo. That now I've made it, this is where I'm going to stay, because then things will go downhill immediately when you are asleep on the wheel. So it's part of the process, like happiness and love is a process. So you have to keep things running all the time, otherwise it doesn't work. And I'm also responsible to making sure that Jan at some point will retire. So that means that there is a sustainable investment made, and this is something which has helped us. So during the Corona period, that we can take 3 years easy. So we can work without the risk. So where do you invest? Real estate or shares? Well, main asset categories, because we want to make sure that eggs are not all in the same basket. So this is the key. So you are quite happy because during the Corona period, you were able to enjoy your family and just spending time together. And you were not under a huge amount of stress that things are very bad, both in money-wise and also for the future. I think we were lucky because we did not, at that moment, when everything was shut down, fortunately we had not started any productions at that moment. So there was no investment or capital locked in anywhere. So because some people did very badly because they just had a production, they had the advertising campaign, everything, and then everything was shut down because then they could not perform any place. And this is what happened to some of our friends, and that was really painful. This happened with many. But of course, this is not what you can keep up endlessly. What is the biggest mistake what you made in business management, Kerli? I don't think there would have been a mistake, but maybe I've had to pay my dues, of course. But I don't think it's a mistake in that way that we've had a loss with certain projects when it comes to export, when we started to think about how you can export this kind of field, how you can grow. And then I made mistakes because I could not quite understand what are the factors which you have to take into account to be able to grow. One factor, of course, is your human factor, because I cannot escalate him. There are certain number of days, certain phase. So he is very limited as a product which you could sell across the world. But if you remove that aspect, that there are many things which can be scaled and grow, and you can sell on a bigger market. But that means, of course, I had to pay my dues in order to understand it exactly. So what was your export topic then? We had Enterprise Estonia involved. There was a project that we had the Estonian place in Finland. It was text by Rein Vakk in Finnish. So Jan learned the text in Finnish. It was a very good tour. But I think it involved a bit too much of ignorance. Ignorance is a bliss, of course, as people say. So when it comes to great visions, it's good characteristics because otherwise you would not be willing to do anything. But at some point, you are not able to analyze things so well that if you have a 1 million market and 5 million market, and these markets function in a different way. How do the Finnish market differ? That the market is so much bigger, so there's a possibility to do different things, but at the same time this market is very full. So when we have a cool project and we go there, one thing is that people don't know Jan there, and the other thing is nobody is really waiting for you to get there. Because that would mean that you have to have a different approach, because if we had gone to with a Finnish actor, it would have been a lot more successful. So we to start from nothing to promote a famous Estonian in Finland is a completely different work than it is here in Estonia. If we do something with Jan here. So that was from the business point of view, but I got a very good experience personally, a lot of connections, a lot of extra offers, and that's part of the idea that I want to create a bridge. So from the marketing point of view, it was good. It was good because we were able to meet up with the top-level experts and the producers who came to see it, and they connected, took it to contact, and they had many ideas. And there are some things which had not happened due to the coronavirus, but there are many things which are there's a play, for example, which has been written for me. So this is waiting. And also this is something which is important for me to try myself out, what it feels to be in front of a half-empty room, which is not something which does not really happen here. And also you're going to present in a foreign language and to make jokes to a different audience. I remember being so nervous before the opening night. So this is important. This is not something which we've done before, and this is something which which helps you to wake up. So you're not going to rest on your laurels, but there's a newfound respect when it comes to the show world. So I found new respect when it came to theatre. But this is quite interesting because the brain side of the business says it was a loss, also the borderline, but on the heart side of things, you can say it was the best thing ever. So how do you solve this kind of dilemmas which happen in Estonia as well? Your heart says it's really good, but it doesn't bring in much money. So how does it, we have a lot of these discussions. But then we're trying to balance these things out, because we have found a balance. So there are some projects which are important for Jan, and sometimes he's willing to do things for pro bono. And then there are some other things, because there are some things you have to do pro bono, which are close to your heart. And you don't want to hand this idea over to state-owned theatre. So Kerli will just accept that this is going to be a zero round. But, for example, a play by Michael Mutt, our theatre was the first one and the last one who has put Michael Mutt on stage. There was no income, but it was a good turnover. But it left a mark in history, and it was a really good thing. But a private theatre needs to be able to handle the volume as well, but the volume is kind of lacking. And Jan's audience was a bit lost. It was too serious, because I have understood. They look at face, it's Jan, then I know what it is. They are not reading because a lot of people don't know that he's a drama actor, so it can be very serious roles as well. So people who come through TV, for them, Jan is a comedy actor. But he actually does as much drama as well. So with this play, marketing was a bit of an issue. And we found that the people do not read what the play is about. Is it a comedy and a drama? Oh, the Jan is there, it must be good. And so there was some disappointment there. But this is one of the main questions for you or your small business is Jan's brand. And there is an image that, of course, that Jan is very good as a drama actor, but maybe for a wider audience, he's a comedy actor. And how would you say, if you have a parallel, that you have good ice cream, and then you make something which is savory, and then people think the same way, that they're expecting a sweet taste and they get savory taste instead. So how have you thought about it? Do you want to expand your brand, to keep it, maintain it? I don't like to cheat the audience, because if I know that people want a comedy, then I'm not going to offer something for a wider audience. But if it's a drama, then you have to make sure that you have a target group who's interested in that. So there are different production, different methods. So you understood what his brand is, then you're not trying to twist it into something it's not. I think that he's also old enough that you can't twist anything anymore. So you also have enough experience, and you have seen all sorts of times, and you have managed to get this kind of experience that you also feel that you would like to share this with a more serious play based on your experience, or are you happy to have your image, which is a comedic actor? I'm very happy about it, because comedy is quite a subtle thing. And if you look at the nearest future, I would like to get more subtle with it and more specific. So I'm not going to tell you yet what the genre is, but we have a new generation, because we have stand-up people and actors who do their old stuff. I used to be alone in this field, and now there are a few things which I thought about which could be next. Maybe there is a new road you can open. We don't know if you're going to be successful or not, but this is comedy. So serious things, we can hear this from the people that why do you have to have national theatres? But we need them, because this kind of state support is critical for a small nation like ours, because poets and serious and weird plays in theatre, so they are very small. We have a very small language that needs to be supported. So if you want us to continue this language, then we need to support culture with the taxpayers' fund. Unfortunately, in my team, there's national theatres as well. So I have not burned the bridges, because I can do serious things there with the and this is taxpayers' funding. And I'm proud I can support the state budget with my private business. So this is the balance. Thank you very much for this very good and constructive interview. And I believe that many of you got good ideas and a good example how as partners, as spouses, you can create excellent cooperation without big dramas, but supporting each other and promising each other that you allow the projects to be carried out which does not bring in a revenue, so it does not always make financial sense. So thank you both and good luck. Thank you for coming. There are no dramas because he's a comedy actor, so that's why there is no drama in this house.